Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast where we motivate, inspire, and drive with stories from entrepreneurs from around the country. That's right, folks. Straight from their mouths to your ears, this is Hustle City, USA.
Good afternoon, Hustletown. This is James Hargrove, the Texas Real Estate Dude, coming to you from the chair at Hustle City, USA. Live on the mic today with none other than CEO and founder, JLA Real Estate, Mr. John Altic.
Hey. Thanks, James. Glad to be here. It's going to be a fun day, as always.
I understand today, or the other day, was recently your birthday. Is that correct, John?
Yeah, I turned 22.
Did the AARP card come in the mail yet?
So maybe 22 plus 20, but no AARP card.
So you're a couple years too soon for that, right?
I'm getting close, though. I'm getting close.
So, John, I saw trending today on entrepreneur.com, a topic I wanted to bring up because I think it's a great lead into JLA Realty and what you've done there with those folks. But the 7 successful habits of millennial millionaires and some of the tips they gave for some of these young people out there getting their hustle on. What can you add to that, and what do you see for JLA in regards to the millennials and the hustles that are putting in out there?
It's all about passion, and as we go through today's sit down here at Hustle City, USA, we're going to talk about passion because I find that the millennials are chasing their passions like no other group in the history. They're going after what they love to do.
Well, and let me not lead you too far ahead and get us too far off track as we get into the show today. I want to hear the backstory and where you came from, how you started, where JLA got to, where JLA started and where it got to today. Can you bring us back quite a few years?
Yeah, I'm a small-town America boy. Grew up in southwest Missouri, small town Pleasant Hope, Missouri. Big shout out there. Graduating class had 42 people in it, so I pretty much related to everybody in my class. Grew up in a household where my mom owned a beauty salon, so for years we were around small business owner, my mom. So I think that there were definite characteristics she passed on. I probably didn't realize it at 14 or 15, but it's playing forward now quite well. My wife and I moved here to Houston in 2001 from Missouri on her relo, and in order to stay busy and stay out of trouble, I started flipping houses.
Well, let me back you up just a bit, John. I wanted to hear a little bit more about Missouri. Did you have an entrepreneurial spirit or any kind of drive when you were, basically a kid in high school, and were you hustling any then, or just going to school, or what that look like for you?
Always been a hustler. Started working in the hayfields at 14, had my own lawn mowing service at a very young age, so always had money in my pocket. That's something that always been special to me. And growing up in a very blue-collar household, what you wanted extra and above the basic necessities, you needed to go earn yourself. So it was something that I always took very important at an early age.
Yeah, I understand completely. So, and then, I'm sorry, go back to the year that you guys decided to reload.
We moved here in 2001 on my wife's relo. And Houston's a big city to move to from Middle America. There's a lot going on here.
Absolutely, yes.
And so for me, I'd always had a passion for houses. I love the do-it-yourself shows, and I'm quite handy at times. So I started buying houses and flipping them. However, to get started in that home buying process, I actually ran a lawn mowing service here in Texas for a summer just to earn the extra cash to buy my first house.
And that's why you were with Hershey originally.
Absolutely, yeah. We came down here on my wife's reload, but I was with Hershey Chocolate. They reloaded me down as well, and I spent 14 good years there with Hershey Chocolate. Mm-hmm.
So after flipping a couple of houses, you kind of got the real estate bug? Is that how that
Yeah, I decided, hey, I might as well get my real estate license if I'm going to buy and sell houses. It seems like a good transition. Was just doing my deals, some friends and family, and it just kind of took off from there. And back in 2008, my wife decided it was time to have a family. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and had to ramp up my real estate. And also, the fall of that year, I had the opportunity to buy the Century 21 I was working at. So that kind of launched me into the ownership phase of real estate. Didn't really know what I was doing, just jumped in. It was kind of crazy. But jumped in, and what ended up being the downturn of the real estate market here in Houston from about 2010 on to 2012, 13, it was a pretty brutal market down here. But
it was very brutal, you're right.
I did the Century 21 franchise gig for a couple years and realized that wasn't for me. As an entrepreneur, we like to play in the gray area a lot, and the franchise world doesn't really work well for me.
Did you find that during that time, though, that's when you started sort of leading and grooming agents, and that you had a passion for that as well? And assisting the agents?
Real estate's an interesting industry in that every real estate agent's a 1099 self-employed person within your brokerage. And motivating entrepreneurs and agents are truly entrepreneurs. motivating them, finding out what makes them tick was really something that I had a great passion for early on.
Well, you seem to have done well with that at JLA Realty. So bring us forward after Century 21 gig, and that kind of transpired, and is that when the conception for JLA came along, or?
Yeah, I had kind of had my fill of the franchise model as a whole and decided that there had to be a better way out here. So sold my share of the Century 21 in 2010, December 2010, opened JLA beginning of 2011 in my house, like most entrepreneurs seem to do. And had a few agents would come on board. We were meeting at my house late at night and solving problems from my kitchen table sometimes. And it just kept growing. A few agents here, a few agents there. And then in March of 2014, we had 22 agents. I decided it was time to open my first office. I think my wife was tired of all the agents at my house on a regular basis.
Well, go back and tell me. I think I saw a picture where you maybe had a meeting at a hostel of Pasto. Again, tell me the story, the background on that.
Yeah, we had to find a place to meet as a group and train and learn. So back then I would take my team off-site to a local pasta house or wherever I could find a decent-sized meeting room. I think that first off-site meeting had 15 agents, and man, I thought I was on cloud nine. I had 15 agents going to show up and listen to me talk.
Was it a party or was it a meeting?
Well, no, it was a meeting, and here's why. I was on an extremely limited budget. So I remember telling the waitress, listen, no alcohol. Not because I cared that they had any alcohol. I just didn't have the money for it.
That's the story I was getting to, Mr. Altic.
You know, when you're starting out, you're on a budget. And even when you're booming, you're on a budget. And so it just wasn't there. And I remember thinking, gosh, this could get me in big trouble because I don't have the cash to cover if it goes that far in. So.
Right. No, I understand. So at that point, and I think I want to back up just a little bit more. At that point, you've already had JLA established. You've got your logo. Tell us a little bit about why you decided to go with your initials, JLA, and the design for the logo.
Well, that goes back home to Missouri again. My wife and I met at her aunt's construction company. Her aunt owns a very successful construction company back in southwest Missouri, and her logo is JLA with the flowers on it because her initials are JLA as well. So when we were designing the logo, my wife had the idea we'd go ahead and keep it in the family. JLA Realty, we'd put the Texas blue bonnets on there. So it kind of has some family meaning, some sentimental meaning to it.
And what flowers do they have in Missouri?
I think she has the purple cone flowers. I believe that's a state flower.
So kind of similar to the blue bonnet, I
guess,
right?
Yeah. But it has a lot of family meaning. You know, I think sometimes when you're chasing your passion, to keep everybody involved in your passions with, family and how you got to where you got there. And I wouldn't be here today without my wife. Let me go on record and say that. She's way smarter and way better looking than I am.
Well, and you wouldn't be here today without your father's wife either.
This is true that.
That's why you're celebrating a birthday this week.
Yes.
So we'll jump back to where we were at. You were at about 2014. You had 22 agents. Where is JLA today?
So 2.5 years later, we're at 7 offices and 300 agents later.
Tell me how you got there.
It's all about culture. Real estate is real estate. I think it's kind of a stuck in 1985 business. A lot of brands work the same way they did back in the mid-'80s. We created something totally different, a little bit different look and feel for the brokerage and the splits, but also it's all about culture. I'm a great big Richard Branson fan, and he always says, take care of your people, they'll take care of the clients. We spend our time taking care of our agents so that they're fully equipped and prepared to go out here and take care of the clients on the street.
I understand there's a lot of fun that happens from time to time within the JLA culture. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm all about fun. If I'm not having a good time, I don't want to do it. And if this is miserable, I'll go back to corporate America where I get a paycheck every 2 weeks and some health insurance. And we do focus on the fun piece of it because real estate can be a really good time. Any business can be a good time. Let's just take it out there. It's all about the attitude at the top and the culture that they create. And I'm a fun guy, You rarely see me in a suit and tie in the JLA office. You rarely see me not having fun. I think there's more than one picture floating around on the internet with me standing on my head or doing something goofy. I've worn a kilt a couple times. Whatever I need to do to create the fun, enjoyable atmosphere, I'm all in.
Okay, I'm going to have to start Googling some of that because I'm concerned about what images might actually be on the internet with you, Mr. Altic. So tell us about future plans for JLA. Let's go forward. Let's go into 2017 and beyond.
Hey, we've got big plans. I've got an amazing leadership team around me, and we're kind of pedal to the floor running wild with new offices coming on board, new agents, and again, keeping the fun factor in, but working towards, a goal. And I don't really know what that is. I can't tell you we're going to have 20 offices anytime soon, but we're going to keep opening them up at the same pace we are right now. And I've got 6 or 8 on the horizon for the next 8 to 12 months, and we're just going to take it as it goes.
I understand. What else would you like to tell us about what you're doing in the community? Is there any fundraising not fundraising, but community type events, volunteer type efforts that JLA partakes in?
It's a big part of our culture as well. We do a lot of giving back. If you got to think about it, in real estate, we get all of our money from the neighborhoods we buy and sell homes in. So we need to spend some time giving back to that same area. And we do. 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was out building a wheelchair ramp at a guy's house that was in need of a wheelchair ramp. So we had, 6, 8, 10 agents out there building this wheelchair ramp. That's the stuff that makes me feel good, giving back to those in need in the area. And I'm a big believer, for everything you give, you get back tenfold. So we do a lot of that. We just formed a 5013C for fundraising efforts within JLA. So just a lot of moving pieces with that.
Nice. I think I did hear some internal dialogue on that. What are you naming the foundation? Do you want to release that yet? Or
it's JLA Can. I believe we let the whole office vote on our 5013C name. So Joy, I think Joy, Love, Action, Caring About Neighbors. I think that's what we came up with.
That's kind of the direction it's going. Okay.
Yeah. So, I think, too, as we look at entrepreneurship, and real estate agents are entrepreneurs, we talked about that earlier, is getting them motivated and seeing themselves as entrepreneurs. I think there's a lot of people out here doing their day-to-day grind, and sometimes they're trying to figure out how to convert that into entrepreneurship. And I challenge everybody, including my agents, look around you. What are you doing that you might be able to turn into your entrepreneurial world? And I've got agents that are agents and have other side hustles as well. I've got agents that are school teachers and firefighters, but they're hustling, they're hustling real estate on the side and doing a really good job at it. So it's a big piece of who I am. I love entrepreneurs and what they stand for and the passion that we have. We'll go back and talk about Hershey for a minute. Great company, spent 14 years there. They taught me a lot of things that I use within my day-to-day business at JLA, but it never made me happy. It was a great job. Selling chocolate's not hard, right? Come on, anybody can sell chocolate. But it didn't fulfill that inner need of mine to be something more and to be something better. And I found myself stuck in a world where I just didn't enjoy getting up every morning. It didn't do it for me, right? And this isn't a job now. I don't get out of bed in the morning like, man, I got to go to work. I get out of bed and be like, let's get this party started.
Let's get it started. That's right. So tell me again, what year was the transition between Hershey's and JLA?
Well, believe it or not, it's only been 3 years ago.
Wow.
I got JLA up and running and did everything with my day job on the side and my side hustle. And Hershey came around with a package, and the timing was perfect, and we jumped on it.
So just went ahead and took it.
It made sense, and that's a challenge for all entrepreneurs out there. Is when do you make that jump from corporate America over to your side hustle? And there's never going to be an easy time. I tell everybody that there's never a perfect time because you've got a family, you've got payments and bills. And to make that jump's never going to be easy. And sometimes you just have to rip the Band-Aid off and jump.
Right. And how do you suggest people go about that? Is there a teetering point or when you can't handle it anymore, when the money's right, which is never going to seem to be there?
Never going to be there. Never going to be there. Hey, sometimes your business will do it for you. They'll have a package or they'll give you the pink slip, right? And so for some people, they need that push. You're gone.
Right.
Others, I think you work towards it. Maybe you set a monetary goal. When I'm making this much money, I can walk away. Normally, when you get your hustle going at that rate, you're so frustrated with your day job, or you want out.
It's easy to make the separation.
It's easy because there's a point where I just can't think about anything else. Why am I doing this? And so you're going to know. You're going to know. And it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people. You got to have a support group around you. My wife's always been extremely supportive of this venture into real estate and what I've done. And sometimes she scratches her head and tries to figure out what planet I'm on because I have some crazy ideas, but you'll know when the people around you are ready for you to make that happen.
Do you find you have to shift through those ideas to get to the ones that are really good?
Oh man, if you can see the notebooks I have full of entrepreneur ideas and make your head spin, I think that's part of what makes us who we are. Now some entrepreneurs are very, very specific about what they're good at. They know one thing and that's it. Others, like myself, my brain's running nonstop. I'll see something, I'm like, that's a great idea, or that's awesome. Trying to figure out what makes you tick as an entrepreneur and running with it is crucial. And making sure that it's something that you can monetize. But you got to make money at it.
Absolutely.
And something that you're going to be able to get up and do every day and not think this is a job. It's something I love doing.
So do you see other subsidiary side businesses in addition to JLA as you continue to grow the real estate portion of it, or where are you going with that?
We do have an insurance company we've launched. Obviously, every real estate transaction has insurance, so we got that. Partnering with my good buddy Terry Green, who's a phenomenal insurance broker. I see other opportunities as well out in front of us. From a business brokerage, we're going to be buying and selling businesses. We got that coming on board. We got a lot of pieces coming into play. But again, it's just finding the right opportunity at the right time and running with it. Okay,
well, let's take it off business for a moment. Tell us a little bit about John Altic and what makes you tick.
Oh man, that's a crazy question. Don't ask my wife. That could get you in trouble. I don't know. I've always been one that I enjoy life. I'm kind of a gray area guy. I don't fit in a box very well. I think that's why corporate America didn't always work for me.
Absolutely.
Is that my brain never shuts down, and I'm one of those that I can operate on 3 or 4 hours worth of sleep because my brain's just thinking about crazy stuff that I want to do. But I don't know. Finding what makes me tick is sometimes a crazy piece of it. But I live by the rule that life's too short not to have any fun. Mm-hmm. And if you're not having fun in your day-to-day job, then you got to go out and create something different.
So what about hobbies and what's downtime look like?
I'm a big reader. I spend a lot of time reading. Probably it's a good thing and a bad thing. The more I read, the more I think I don't know what I need to know. I do enjoy a little golf once in a while, but this is kind of a hobby. Real estate and JLA is kind of a hobby because you usually have hobbies to get away from work.
Right.
That's really not that way for me. I don't look at it like, oh man, here we go again.
Well, I always loved a Branson quote, and I believe it said something to the effect of work or play doesn't matter, only to live.
Correct.
So some people say you can't blend the two. I seem to think that you can.
The fun we have in here, the office threw me this great surprise birthday party. To see roughly 100 agents show up to have a little birthday party for me and surprise me, that's fun, right? And they were all having a good time. And for that hour and a half, it had nothing to do with business.
And you got a lot of great socks.
I did get a lot of great socks. For all your listeners out there, I kind of have a thing for crazy socks. I got 88 pair.
88 pair. I was going to ask how many. My goodness.
I don't have enough drawers for that.
You should make some sock puppets out of a few of
those.
Let's
not go there. That wouldn't be pretty.
But you've got a couple daughters, right? Tell us about the family, John.
My wife Kelly's been together 22 years. 2 daughters. I've got a 5-year-old Stella and an 8-year-old Brooke. And unfortunately, I think Stella's is going to give me a run for my money. Just wait and see.
Any other new additions in store for the
Absolutely not. The baby shop is closed. Will not be happening. But, I guess as we go out here and talk to entrepreneurs, and that's our whole focus here is don't be afraid to take that jump. Know it's going to come with pitfalls, and there's nothing about the entrepreneurial world that's all peaches and cream. And I tell people if it's a get-rich-quick scheme, it won't work. You got to be in it for the long haul and put your time in, and there's going to be some struggles, believe me. I mean, there's been more than one time in the career of JLA where you're looking at the bank account saying, now what? So just stay in the course, having that great support group around you, and it'll rock and roll.
I recently listened to a podcast with Gary Vaynerchuk, a video podcast where a good friend of his was actually one of the founding members of Uber. And Gary V had the opportunity to invest in Uber not once but twice to the tune of $25,000, and he did not do it, even though this was one of his best friends. And it could have been a $300 million kick should he have got in back in the day. So there are going to be those missed opportunities.
And they're out there. So I saw one on Facebook where, I guess Zuckerberg invited 9 of his buddies to his dorm room to talk about Facebook, and only 2 showed up.
With pizza.
Yeah. How would you like to be the other 7 that didn't show up to his dorm room?
They better had something good going on.
I mean, that's the stuff that happens, and I see it within mine. And I've got more than one person within my network that I kind of invited to be part of the original JLA, kickoff, and some they couldn't get their hands around my systems and what I was doing, but now they're calling me saying, hey, is there still an opportunity? And sometimes those ships have sailed. It's not the same.
Right, it's not the same as it was during the startup. Well, John, I think that's about got it for the day. You got anything you want to add?
Go get your hustle on, enjoy it, and reach out to us. You can catch me on the internet. I'm a big Facebook guy, so friend me on Facebook, and we can chat. You can email me, jltic@jlarealestate.com, or you want to talk in person, 281-744-2611. I'd love to hear about your entrepreneurial hustle.
Okay, and don't forget Hustle City USA podcast. You can find us on Twitter @HustleCity_USA. Looking forward to the next episode.